Fresh is the word.
Welcome to a special bonus edition of Fresh is the Word. It's kind of a somber episode. Well, we're going to celebrate the life, though, of Motörhead's Lemmy. He passed away yesterday on the 28th of December, just a few days after turning 70 years old on Christmas Eve. It's definitely a big loss for the rock and metal world, just the music world in general. He was, a very unique individual. Back in September, Motörhead played here in Detroit at the Fillmore, and it was an awesome show. But I actually got to do a phone interview shortly after the show with him, so it was definitely an honor to be able to talk with the man himself. So I definitely wanted to just present that audio. I had already published the text on Huffington Post Detroit, but I still have this audio around, and sometimes it's just better to hear it from the man's mouth himself. Motörhead has put out 23 studio albums, 10 live recordings, 12 compilation albums, 5 EPs, and have just countless inspiration to so many people around the world. I know part of this podcast is also about wrestling, and Lemmy and Motörhead have had a long relationship with the WWE. Motörhead did the theme music for Evolution, that was like Triple H and Ric Flair's stable in WWE, and then also he did the entrance music for Triple H. Motörhead has also performed live at both, WrestleMania 17 and 21 for Triple H. And even before that, Lemmy and Zebrahead did a cover of Enter Sandman for Sandman the wrestler in ECW. Basically, they did a whole album. ECW did a whole album where there's a lot of cover tracks on there, which were basically already cover tracks of songs that ECW wrestlers were already using for their entrance music. So, Lemmy definitely had his connection to the wrestling world too. They always kind of used their music too, for certain segments. It just always kind of fit, So it's definitely a sad loss, for just the music world. There's no one quite like Lemmy. We all have our own Lemmy stories about, when we saw a song that we like or a segment on TV or, whatnot. So it's definitely, he'll be missed, So I definitely wanted to present the audio for this interview that I did with him. It's very short, so this is going to be a really short episode. So let's, listen to the interview with Lemmy. Rest in peace, Lemmy. Lemmy is God. Oh, no, I was just thanking you for doing this interview.
Oh, that's cool. Anytime.
Yep. Start things off. Recently, the Damned were in town doing a Detroit show, and I interviewed Captain Sensible, and he said that you kind of saved the band's existence. He said back in 78, the Damned split up for the first time, and he called you up to play bass. And you guys played a few shows full of Damned and Motörhead material, and the crowd's reaction was so awesome that they realized, that this could be a thing. Do you remember that time at all?
Oh, yeah. We only did one gig with me on bass as the Doomed. And it went down very well, yeah. And then they got brilliant carried on.
How do you think a band like Motörhead stays relevant after 40 years?
I have no idea. Swear to God, I have no clue. I don't know. I'm just grateful for it,
40 years into Motörhead, what sticks out in your mind about those early years when you were just starting out with this band?
The discomfort mainly. But, you don't care when you're 30. That's easy.
Yeah, and before that, you're part of a few situations. You were definitely you were at one time a roadie for Jimi Hendrix. How's that experience?
Well, it's difficult to remember because we were all tripping all the time. So it's a bit fuzzy, but it was a good time. I mean, obviously, just sitting and watch Hendrix every night from the wings, I mean, what's better than that?
Oh yeah, I've heard many times that you wanted to make music, like one of our legendary Detroit bands, MC5. What was it about them that influenced you?
The attack, they were really on, and the good nights, they were brilliant. It's a shame about the MC5. They got fucked up and murdered,
Did you ever meet any of the guys from MC5?
Oh yeah. I mean, I sang a couple of songs when they reformed as the MC3. I went up and played 2 songs with them.
Nice. I mean, it's always been known that, Lemmy's been always, had a way with the ladies. He always had ladies around. And I always feel like the music of Motörhead had that certain groove in their music that was sort of sensual, like a badass woman. How did that correlate into the music?
How did I correlate with what?
Hello? Yeah, how did that sort of, there was like that deep groove in the music that was sort of sensual, like a badass woman. How did that sort of correlate into the music of Motörhead?
Oh, we were always like bluesy in the beginning, especially when Eddie was in the band, because he was a blues freak and so was I. So it is a kind of blues band. It's just very, very fast one.
Right. This past weekend, I was at the show here in Detroit, and it was crazy because it was like a lot of the older guys in the audience were like the ones causing the most ruckus. How does it feel to have hit such a nerve with so many people for so long?
Well, look, we cross generations too, We get kids at 15 as well. And people bring their kids to see us, 60 years old, and you got a kid to bring in,
Right.
So it's all great fun, rock and roll fun.
Right. Yeah, it was great. It was great seeing like just people of all ages at the show, and it was like once that those opening riffs of Ace of Spades hit, man, it just was like mayhem.
Yeah, right. Always. We're stuck with that song.
Are you sick of it?
It's a good song, though. At least we got famous for a good song.
Right.
A lot of people got famous for turkeys,
Right. Yeah, and at the other show the other night, Mickey D and Phil Campbell sounded great with you. How's it been, being in the band with those guys for so long?
Oh, it's all right, I mean, Phil's great. Mickey's great. And I was lucky, we got the 2 right guys. And it's a powerful band,
Right, yeah, super powerful. It was just such a big sound there that it was just amazing.
Yeah. Some people would say too loud. I don't think you can have too loud,
Hell no, man. No, it sounded great, man. It was great. It was powerful, man. That's what I liked about the show last weekend.
Yeah, well, we try to do our best, to leave you with less hearing than you did when you came.
Right. Okay, with the new album Bad Magic, you guys charted pretty high across the globe, but you've been around for 40 years, and the music business is totally different than what it used to be. Do you even care
Yeah,
about record sales and charting and stuff like that anymore?
I don't think, well, they take it from different things now, don't they? They take it from the internet now, don't they? Downloads as the charts now,
Yeah.
which I think is very weird, you know.
And it seems like these days that a lot of like the legacy metal bands that are kind of still around are actually, charting pretty high, both in the US and globally. I mean,
Yeah.
is that something that you feel like it's just a state that, metal is strong, or is it just some sort of weirdness going on in the music industry these days?
Well, no, I mean, heavy metal is the logical successor to rock and roll, you know. So, and people like rock and roll. So a lot of people like heavy metal, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, but a lot of people do, you know.
I feel like, even with Motorhead's blues influence, where you guys came from was a sort of style of music that was kind of a counterculture to what was mainstream. But now you guys are well into a maturation period. You have a grown audience,
Yeah.
you have a grown audience now. How does it, feel that this sort of music that at once might have been deemed a fad is something that is solidly in a maturation state?
Well, it's, you know, we've always been maturing. We've always done different things, you know. Um, I don't know. I'm just glad that we can still pull a crowd, you know. I mean, we don't sell a lot of albums. This new one went in the charts at 17, I think, which is great, you know. And the last one went in at 22. Those are the only two times we've been in the top 100, you know. So I'm very pleased with that.
Great. And you're almost 70 now, and most bands, would start winding it down or have closed up shop long ago. Why do you still do this?
Because I like it. Anyway, what am I going to do if I stop?
Right. That was going to be my next question. I'm like, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing? Sitting on a beach somewhere or what?
I'd probably be in jail.
Still being an outlaw at 70 years old?
Yeah, you know, I mean, age is only relative to what you can do, you know. If you're crippled, then you're crippled, but if you're not, you're not, you know. And you can get up to all sorts of mischief. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's always been kind of a cliche that people would say, I'm gonna do this till I die, but I think you might actually do that.
Yeah, I think I might as well. I don't see the point of, you know, retirement when there's nothing to retire from. You know, because like, imagine if I retire, right? What am I going to do? Sit at home all day, playing records and saying, those are the days. You know? No thanks. That's not me.
No. I wouldn't think any less of you, Lemmy.
Yeah.
Do you see any more Motörhead albums in the future?
With who?
Do you see that there will be any more Motörhead albums in the future?
Motörhead albums for what?
No, I was just
Sorry.
sorry. No, I was just asking if do you foresee there being any more Motörhead albums being made in the future?
Oh, yeah. You know, we can make albums till the day we drop, you know. I'll probably die in the studio doing a vocal track.
When when it's finally all said and done, whenever that actually comes to be, what do you feel like the legacy of Motörhead will be?
You know, party music, rock and roll. You know, that's what I like. You know, that we do rock and roll. And I say it at every show. You know, we are Motörhead and we play rock and roll. You know, that's our motto, as it were.
Right. Great. Yeah, thanks for taking the time out to do this interview. It's been an honor to be able to talk to someone who has, as such metal regality as you do.
Yeah, I suppose you could put it like that.
All right, man. You have a good rest of the tour, man, and be safe.
Thank you.
All right,
You
man.
too.
All right, have a nice day.
Yeah, see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Fresh is the word.